Hello everybody, and we'll be talking about Ingram Spark, a new program by Ingram. It's supposed to be a sort of parallel program to Lightning Source, and the reason I made the video was I heard that Lightning Source customers were going to be dropped into Ingram Spark, or they're going to be transitioned, or something like that, and I started looking at Ingram Spark and saw the distribution policies and was like, whoa. So I've since heard that this is not the plan, that Ingram Spark is not going to be merged with Lightning Source, so I'm kind of relieved about that. But this video is just basically to outline the differences that we're going to see between the two programs. So I'm staying with Lightning Source, and I'll explain why. So what is Ingram Spark? A little history first. I joined Lightning Source several years ago with my first book, the first edition of The Dying Times. It's a post-apocalyptic zombie book, and everything went okay. Had a couple of revisions to make it go into distribution, but everything was generally okay. It wasn't too difficult. Two more in that series came, then another 3-book series, and I did paperback and hardcover of each of those, and then a second edition of my PA zombie books, and an omnibus of that series. So I've done at least 10. I don't have the exact count. I'm not looking at my my ISBN list right now, but that may be an issue if you're trying to go to Lightning Source. I've heard that now they're requiring 10 titles whenever you go in. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but if it is, I was never asked to go to Ingram Spark, and I've heard that some people have been, and they had less than 10 titles. So now on to Ingram Spark. It appears to be an answer to a new wave of author publishers coming forward into the world of print-on-demand distribution. Ebooks are generally easy to deal with. No physical product, no storage, no shipping. Well, the shipping is a breeze through the airwaves. Print books are a completely different animal, and I think that many analysts are correct whenever they say that many authors are coming to Lightning Source or LSI with little more than a dream and a desire to get started. For those considering Lightning Source over Ingram Spark, this may be the most important and useful advice you hear. If you know Adobe Design products inside and out and can produce flawless files your first time out, LSI is for you. If you cannot, get a formatter who is fluent in Lightning Source submission. It's key. You don't want to be stuck in the revision hell. So I've had more and more clients coming to me lately who have blown hundreds of dollars in the submission process, and they still don't have a book that was LSI compliant. We still have work to do, and sometimes the revision process after that is still costing them money. So get a designer who knows what they're doing, or know absolutely that you're capable of dealing with the many requirements of the LSI system. This is not for beginners to publishing. It wasn't designed that way. It wasn't meant to be. That being said, Ingram Spark is the introductory type arm of Lightning Source. You'll still have to produce print-ready files, but it seems that they made this as a layer in front of LSI to catch new folks, slow them down a little bit, and give them a place where they can learn the ropes. It's entirely possible that LSI has gotten bogged down with all of the requests for accounts, plus all of the improperly formatted files coming in. Every one of those files has to be reviewed by people prior to storing it in the database and adding it to distribution. It's not like the ebook platforms, which are largely automated and only flag certain material for review by a human later. So there are people, every time you submit a file to Lightning Source, there are people that have to review this, there are people that have to proof it, make sure that it's going to come out right in the system before they start sending it out to the retailers. Because retailers get mad whenever they get books that are printed upside down or something like that. Ingram Spark, therefore, and in my sole and lonely opinion, is a direct result of human exhaustion and a flood of new people trying to get better margins for their business. And everybody can understand that, but it's adding, in my opinion, is probably adding a lot of pressure to the LSI team to get all of these files reviewed, probably pushing their regular publishers back days and weeks and so forth to get it through the system. So, is Lightning Source closing down? Like I said at the beginning of the video, every indication that I've seen from Ingram's own staff, from Ingram Spark staff, and messages that they've made, that LSI is here to stay. They are merely tightening up the program while still trying to give authors a way to get involved with Ingram directly. So, what's my advice? Before I go into the advice, the closing advice, let's look at the cost between CreateSpace and Ingram Spark. So here I've got a book set up already, pretty standard, 6x9, black and white, perfect bound white paper type with a matte cover, because I always do gloss covers, so I'm just trying it out with a matte cover. It doesn't change the pricing. 300 pages, $12.99 US at a 55% required discount. Now that's one difference that Ingram Spark is requiring. They're requiring a 55% wholesaler discount. At LSI, you can go as low as 20% and keep more of the bottom line. However, if you're just starting out and you're going through Ingram Spark, it's going to be 55%, and they have made comments as to possibly changing this or modifying it later to where you have some more choices. But for now, that's what you have, 55% off of list for the wholesale. Let's calculate the pub, and you get $1.05 off each copy at $12.99. So 300-page book, $12.99, 55% discount, you get $1.05. And the retailer can work anywhere from 0 to 55% of the discount into their local discounting from their website. So they may offer this book at $10.99 with a $2 discount listed on the website. It's totally up to the retailer. Now let's go to CreateSpace's calculator. Same book, 300 pages, 6x9, $12.99, and we have Amazon.com, $3.34, and the e-store, your personal e-store that you send all the traffic to, $5.94. Expanded distribution, 74 cents. So this is important. Amazon.com rate, and the expanded distribution is important, the 74 cents. $1.05 at Ingram Spark is what you will get if the book is sold anywhere. Of course, you do have the $12 yearly listing fee to get all of the worldwide distribution to 38,000 retailers that Ingram distributes to. At Amazon, you get about 31 cents less. And there are fees for expanded distribution that you can research at your own leisure. But same price, you get more at Amazon.com by 3 times the amount. Expanded distribution, you get 31 cents less a copy. So the I don't have to tell you what is probably your best choice if you're just starting out. Most of your sales may come from Amazon.com. I can't guarantee you that. But if you go with expanded distribution, you may make more on CreateSpace as opposed to Ingram Spark, depending on your methodology, depending on where you promote, how you promote, and these things can and do change throughout the course as you're going along. So and CreateSpace doesn't have any setup costs other than the expanded distribution if you decide you want to be available on BarnesandNoble.com and so forth. So my advice, I'd like to leave you with 3 pieces of advice, 3 options, if you will. Number 1, if you're an expert with Adobe products and you know what you're doing, and you can submit flawless or nearly flawless files on the first pass, apply with Lightning Source. You may need those 10 titles to get started. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's necessarily the case at this point, but people are reporting this, that you may need 10 files ready, or 10 titles ready to go into the system as soon as you sign up with LSI. But you can ask them whenever you apply for the account. Number two, option two, if you're not an expert with Adobe and you have 10 titles ready to go, apply for an account and hire a professional to help you. The professional will save you and LSI a lot of heartache and problems, and many professional formatters cost less than 3 revisions at LSI's prices in the first place. So 3 revisions at LSI, $120. You can usually get a formatter for cheaper, maybe the same price, maybe a little more, but it will save you the revision process. And number 3, if you're not an expert with Adobe, or you don't have enough titles, if that's what they tell you, or you simply aren't approved for an account at LSI for whatever reason, I'd recommend going with CreateSpace, at least until you build up some backlist and some proficiency with designing books. CreateSpace is more forgiving with revisions. With them you get free revisions as opposed to $40 a pop at LSI, and there are no setup costs. Personally, I used CreateSpace for a few vanity books, a couple of proofing copies, and I wanted to see what some of them look like in the final layout and the final print. So I went with CreateSpace for that because I didn't want to go through the whole title setup. I mean, the title setup and revisions and all that could cost you a couple $100 at LSI, so why not use CreateSpace? And for learning the basics on design before going to LSI, again, why waste the money? If you have questions and want to experiment, it's better to use one that doesn't charge per revisions. So, and I still made a couple of mistakes at CreateSpace, and it was good because it only cost me the cost of a print or a proof at the time. You don't even require that to go into distribution now. So you can go straight to distribution without getting a proof from CreateSpace, and LSI doesn't require it either now. But I can only imagine the hardships I would have faced if I hadn't practiced on CreateSpace first. So there you have it. I hope this has been helpful. If you liked it, subscribe and tell all of your friends to come by and watch, and repost the video everywhere on all your social medias, right? Right. Bye-bye.